What is happening, guys, and welcome to another episode of World of Warcraft Dungeon Overview. Last episode we did Dead Mines, and this episode we're going to go over Wailing Caverns. John is here for the intros and outros. You can say hi, John.
Hey.
And we will be going through Wailing Caverns with my Warlock here. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. Wailing Caverns is a level 15 to 21 dungeon located in the lush water oasis of the Northern Barrens. All the lore that is known for the Wailing Caverns is posted in the Dungeon Journal, which reads, quote, "Recently, a Night Elf druid named Neralex discovered a network of underground caverns within the heart of Northern Barrens. Dubbed the Wailing Caverns, these natural caves were filled with steam fissures which produced long, mournful wails as they vented. Neralex believed he could use these caverns as underground springs to restore lushness and fertility to the Barrens, but to do so would require siphoning the energies from the fabled Emerald Dream. Once connected to the dream, however, the druid's vision somehow became a nightmare. Soon the Wailing Caverns began to change. The waters turned foul, and the once docile creatures inside metamorphized into vicious, deadly predators. It is said that Neralex himself still resides somewhere within the heart of the labyrinth, trapped beyond the edges of the Emerald Dream. Even his former acolytes have been corrupted by their master's awakening nightmare, transformed into the wicked Druids of the Fang. The first boss of Wailing Caverns is Lady Anaconda. Like the rest of the bosses in this dungeon, Lady Anacondra's background is contained solely in the Dungeon Journal, so I'll be quoting that for the lore parts of the bosses. Scarlet Leaf was the first to volunteer for Neralex's self-appointed mission to the Barrens. After her young master's nightmare shattered her mind, the young acolyte cast aside her name, now envisioning a sinister reptilian future for Azeroth. During the fight, Anaconda will cast Lightning Bolt, Druid Slumber, and Healing Touch, which can all be interrupted. She also has Thorn's Aura applied to herself, damaging melee attacking opponents with very small amounts of nature damage. Aside from that, she's a very easy boss to take down. The second boss is Lord Pythis. A childhood friend of Neralex, the warrior Aaron was a quick study in druidism. Despite his training, the acolyte was defenseless against the corruption that would strip away his sanity. Aaron has taken on the name Pythis, combining his impressive melee prowess with his druidic arsenal to vanquish intruders. Interestingly enough, Pythis' fight is almost exactly the same as Anacondra's. Just the same as the Anaconda encounter, Pythis can cast Lightning Bolt, Druid Slumber, and Healing Touch, all of which can be interrupted. The only difference between this fight and the last is that Pythis uses Thunderclap instead of Thorn's Aura. This damages all players within 10 yards for a small amount of nature damage, and slows players and the time between their attacks by 40% for 6 seconds. The third boss is Lord Cobran. Jaralaxla's skill at harnessing animal forms earned him renown among the druids of the Cenarian Circle. However, the Wailing Caverns' corruption twisted his unique abilities. Now Jaralaxla has perfected a deadly serpentine form, renaming himself Cobran to reflect his vicious newfound power. Cobran has 2 phases in his encounter. The first phase is exactly the same as the 2 previous fights, being that he casts Lightning Bolt, Druid Slumber, and Healing Touch. Blizzard must have had a lazy day or something. And the second phase activates when Cobran reaches 45% health, where he transforms into a serpent, increasing his melee damage a bit while decreasing his attack speed by 30%. Cobran will also periodically inflict players with a small poison DOT. The fourth and only skippable boss of this dungeon is Kresh. An ancient resident of the Wailing Caverns, this giant turtle wanders the underground caves, his resilient mind unaffected by Neralex's relentless nightmares. Don't be fooled by his happy disposition. Kresh has thwarted many adventurers who longed to steal his massive shell. Kresh only has one ability, being Crushing Bite, where he reduces his target's armor by 10% for 20 seconds. Well, what did you expect? He's the only non-aggro boss in a beginner-level dungeon. Besides, he's a turtle. They don't do very much, in case you haven't noticed. The fifth boss is Scum. Scum first journeyed to the Wailing Caverns for relief from the Barrens' hostile environment. Like many of the cave's other inhabitants, he quickly succumbed to the corruption. His veins now pulse with dark energies that have transformed him into a mighty and ruthless beast beyond redemption. Scum only has one move, being Chained Bolt, which can in fact be interrupted. Because every level 15 knows how to interrupt spells, right? The sixth boss is Lord Serpentis. The Druid of the Fang's leader was once Neralex's finest student. His tragic downfall stemmed from his desire to become a Shan'do, or honored teacher, like Neralex. As insanity took root, Serpentis rallied his brethren to his side and formed the Druid of the Fang. I guess the Druids of the Fang aren't very creative with their skill sets, which would make their leader the least creative of all. Like all the other leaders of the Fang, Serpentis can cast Lightning Bolt, Druid Slumber, and Healing Touch, except that that's all he can do. He doesn't even have some passive ability to make him unique in any way. It's a shame that the potential for a truly interesting beginning dungeon was wasted on 3 repeated moves for literally half the bosses. The 7th boss is Verdan the Everliving. Little is known about this creature prior to Neralex's arrival at the Wailing Caverns. Thought to be the cave's original guardian, Verdan the Everliving could not escape the corruption that befell its home. Verdan is allied with the insane druids and maintain its vigil against those who trespass into its domain. During the fight, Verdan will cast Grasping Vines, immobilizing and knocking down all players within 10 yards for 5 seconds. The 8th and final boss of Wailing Caverns is Mutanus the Devourer. From the darkest corners of Neralex's twisted mind, the corruption plaguing the Emerald Dream has manifested in the form of the Druid's worst enemy, Murlocs. The aberration, known as Mutanus, has come to the waking world to devour any who seek to liberate Neralex from the nightmare's clutches. Fortunately, this final boss fight is actually pretty interesting, from a level 15's perspective that is, but unfortunately that makes for one interesting fight in this dungeon out of 8. Mutanus can cast Neralex's Nightmare, putting a player to sleep for 8 seconds. This spell can be interrupted, or the effect will wear off early if a player takes any damage while under its effect. Mutanus can also cast Terrify, fearing players for 3 seconds. Finally, Mutanus can cast Thundercrack, dealing some nature damage to nearby enemies and stunning them for 2.5 seconds. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode, maybe even learned something new about Wailing Caverns. So, next dungeon overview episode in the rotation, I will be doing Shadowfang Keep, the level 85 heroic mode. I will be doing that with my level 100 druid right here. So, as always, leave your comments in the comment section below if you want me to play anything like more World of Warcraft, more Hearthstone, more Ion, more Path of Exile, more Sniper Elite 2, or anything else you could possibly think of. And the comment question still stands, try and guess the intro and outro songs to my videos. They're always the same, I never change them. Got anything else to say, John?
Nope.
Alright, be sure to go check out John's channel. He posts something every now and then, and it's usually pretty entertaining, whatever it is. And be sure to like and subscribe to my videos, guys. It would sure mean a lot. And that's all the time I got for today, guys. So until next time, don't die.